Hello folks, I'm going to talk a little bit tonight about a few different things, be kind of a potpourri if you will. First of all, it's sub-freezing weather once again in the arid central Texas area. So we're looking for our bit of global warming. We're feeling a little miffed here. We're not getting our fair share of the global warming dividend down here in Texas, and we're not too damn happy about it. My wife went to the grocery store the other day, and it was like a crowd of people buying up all the milk, bread. I mean, we think it's the end of the world down here because it's below 32 degrees. I actually got down to 15 last night. 15, yes sir. And for down here, you guys in Minnesota laugh. That's nothing. Well, down here, that's a apocalypse type weather. So we're not happy, but we will survive. We'll get through it. We always do. We're out there helping each other out. Of course, I think it's perfectly appropriate that I picked this time to get my new beer fridge. That will be in service by tomorrow, hopefully. But anyway, hoping it's going to warm up here pretty soon. Nevertheless, as such, I'm relegated to being holed up in my garage again if I want to enjoy a fine tobacco product and have my space heater close by, which you may be catching a little on the microphone. I apologize for that, but I'm not turning it off for you. Sorry. One of the things I want to talk about tonight is the successes of Donald Trump and just how crazy it is that he just gets no credit. The media is just insane. And if you ever, were curious, if you're one of those people who just wondered, is there really anything to that? I mean, is there really a media bias? I've heard it, and I've heard people say that it's BS, and I'm not sure. Is there really media bias? You don't have to look any further than that little gaggle at the White House the other day, reporters, when the president had his physical exam. The President of the United States of America has a physical exam that says that he's in great health across the board. Few little areas, a little more weight cut off and some exercise, but other than that, guy's in great shape, 71 years old. Requests a cognitive exam, which he did not have to take, but requested it and took it and aced it 30 out of 30. So the boy's sharp, everything's working, mind and body, all working. Now, if you're just a regular citizen of the United States and you find out that your president's in fine health and his cognitive abilities are at the top of the game, what is your reaction to that? Is that not a good thing? Is that not a good thing that your president is healthy and sharp? Most people would think so. Nobody in the room thought so. All of the press, they spent 30 minutes just grilling this doctor. Well, isn't any this or any that? And, well, he could be this, and maybe he's fat, and what the hell? I mean, they got to find something. I mean, it was ridiculous. If you haven't seen this video, you need to watch it. It's just insane. The people who needed the cognitive test were all of the reporters in that room because they're totally insane. They're ate up with trying to find anything possible that they can use to diminish this president's standing in the world, and it's just pathetic. It is absolutely pathetic. I mean, it's funny on one hand, but on the other hand, it's just pathetic that this is what is supposed to pass as journalism nowadays. It is so sad. And I have to hand it to the doctor there at one point. They're like, the president, how can you drink all them Cokes and eat cheeseburgers and be in such good shape? And the doctor says, well, it's in the genes. That's just the way God made him. And I'm telling you, invoking God in front of that godless bunch of people is just priceless. And I got to give him a thumbs up for that, Doc. That was cool. That was really cool. But anyway, just to move on to what's been going on, people don't understand. And there's a lot of statistics out there that are false, and I'll tell you that right off. On my side, people who don't like Obama and say, "Oh well, in his whole presidency, he only raised the Dow, 1,000." That's wrong. That's not what happened. In his entire presidency, I just checked it right before I got on here. In his entire presidency, the Dow went up 10,500 points. So he was coming off of that bad deal at the end of Bush's administration, where in September of 2008 the market tanked, and so he's around 8,500, somewhere around in there when he took office, or when he was elected. When he was elected, this is when I'm going by the November number. So when he was elected, he was around 8,500. He took it up to 19,000, so it's 10,500 that he raised the Dow in 8 years. Donald Trump has raised the Dow 7,000 in 1 year. 10,005 in 8 years, 7,000 in 1 year. Now, of course, his presidency isn't over, and God willing, and the creeks don't rise, he'll have a second administration, and we'll see at the end of 8 years where he's at. But he's on a good track. He's on a good track to beat the hell out of what Obama did. But will you hear that in the news? Is there anybody out there saying, geez, this guy really did? Do you remember before the election when Trump was talking about bringing back all these jobs, and they had an interview with Obama, and his condescending, arrogant ass could not help himself to sit out there and say, oh, what's he going to do? He's going to make some kind of magic. He's just going to pull it out of thin air, all these jobs. Them jobs ain't coming back. They're not coming back. He can't do it. Well, they're coming back. They're coming back all over the damn place. So once again, Donald Trump has been proven to understand the economy, be a great businessman, be a great president, and know how to facilitate those jobs. Government doesn't create jobs. It can stifle jobs, though. And that's what Obama did. He stifled jobs. And so President Trump came in and said, look, all I'm going to do is I'm going to get the boot off the neck of the American businessman. One of the promises that Donald Trump made is that for every new regulation we're going to write, you got to kill 2 of them. All right? If you want to write a new regulation in my administration, you got to kill 2 regulations. Well, the last report that I've seen, you know how many they killed for every one they made? 22. 22. Now, if you're reading Huffington Post every morning and listening to Yahoo News and CNN, you don't know that. You don't know that. But that's what happened. 22 regulations gone for every one that has been implemented under Donald J. Trump's presidency. No president in my lifetime has done that. I don't think any president in the history of the country has done that. Now, I haven't, checked it all the way back to George Washington, so I can't tell you, for sure. But in my lifetime, nobody's even got close to that. Nowhere close. I mean, Bush was writing 8,000 or 9,000 a year by the end of his presidency. It's just ridiculous. It's something I've talked about in my blog before. Is these regulations are just stifling. So this is one of the things he does. And then you look at the Middle East. You look at the Middle East and what Donald Trump has done. He's brilliant in the way he does foreign policy. And he's met with these people, and what he does is he uses the economy to pressure people. Look, if you want to get along with what I want to do and you want to do and we all want to prosper and get better, there's some things I need you to do. Now, in the past, presidents didn't care, and they would let you do whatever you want. That's not going to happen anymore. If you want the gravy train to continue, you need to do a few things. He does this behind closed doors. He doesn't trumpet it in front of the media. And then he lets those nations decide for themselves. And so what do you got? You got Saudi Arabia over there partnering with Israel. When's the last time you heard that? How long have you been paying attention to Middle East politics? When's the last time have you heard Saudi Arabia, more or less, it's behind the scenes, but more or less partnering with Israel? They want to get rid of ISIS. They want Syria to be taken care of and get rid of the radicals over there who are trying to take over. Now, you may not like the guy running Syria now, but he's better than the radicals trying to take over. They want to calm down Turkey. Turkey's trying to turn into some kind of regional power there. Saudi Arabia doesn't want it. They want to calm down Iran. Iran wants to run the whole damn show. Saudi Arabia's like, we don't like that. You got the people down there in Yemen who's trying to take over Saudi Arabia. Saudi Arabia's kicking their ass. Donald Trump says he's going to go in there and kick ISIS ass. You don't know. He's pretty much already done it. Again, if you're reading Huffington Post and watching CNN, you don't know that. For all these years, Barack Obama tried to tell us that, well, it's really impossible. These people have to do their own stuff over there. We can't really help. ISIS just kind of created itself. No, it created itself in a void. There was a void of leadership. When you pulled out of Iraq and pulled all of our troops out of Iraq and you left it to them to take over, ISIS was created. You took all those arms from Libya and you sent them to Syria and you gave them to so-called rebels. They ended up in the hands of ISIS, and ISIS was created. ISIS did all the things they did because Barack Obama allowed them to do it. Well, there's a new sheriff in town. They can't do that no more. And besides that, we're over there putting coalitions together. We're kicking their ass. They're out of Raqqa. They're gone. I mean, they're scattered across the country. Now, sure, they're not gone forever. They will be around for probably my lifetime. But we've been kicking the hell out of them. Any military man who knows what's going on will tell you we've been kicking the hell out of them. Another thing he did, he took all these controls of these rules of engagement. Oh, well, you were trying to win hearts and minds, so don't be too mean. We don't want our military to be too mean. What? Military's supposed to be mean. That's what the hell they do. They kill people and break things. That's what they do. If you don't want them to do that, don't send them in. But if you send them in, you let them do it. Donald Trump let them. And they're kicking ass and taking name. And may God bless every veteran of this United States of America and their families. Their families put up with more than the guy in the field does. He's out there because he wants to be. He likes it. That's what he does. That's what he's trained to do. The families are the ones that sit at home and have to worry and be concerned, is my daddy ever coming home? So may God bless every one of your families out there. Hoorah. So that's what's going on there. And then you got the EPA, right? The EPA's been strangling business my entire life. I remember when it was started. A lot of people don't even know it was a Republican damn president that started. But the EPA has just been strangling businesses ever since it was started. They're just a jackbooted bunch of people. They will flat put you out of business if they can over the stupidest little regulations and stuff. And it's insane. They've grown tremendously and they have all this power and stuff. Well, guess what's been happening since Donald Trump's been elected? Some of the employees have been leaving in droves because they don't agree with what he's doing. And you know what he did? He put a freeze on. If you leave, we're not hiring somebody else. So the EPA is going boop, 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 boop. And that's a good thing. And that's a good thing for businesses. Every small business in America who's worth its salt looks up and sees that the EPA is going downhill. They're going, yeah, baby, thank you. And that means jobs. That means people are going to have more jobs. Now, for all you out there that think that's going to mean we're going to have acid in our water and the skies are going to be all smoke-filled and stuff, no, it ain't. We love clean air and clean water, too. We also love liberty, freedom, free market capitalism, and prosperity. And one of the things that cleans up the environment better than anything is prosperity. Where do you think all the technology comes from to scrub these coal plants' emissions and stuff? All of that comes from a free market society where people can invent things and profit off of those inventions and stuff. They don't come from regulations. They don't. And you need to know that. So that's another great thing he's done. And then the last thing is a little touchy, and that's North Korea. And a lot of you out there are real concerned about North Korea, and you're thinking that Donald Trump's kind of stirred the hornet's nest, so to speak. And you know, I can understand why you see that argument, but that's because you're not looking at the long game. What Donald Trump realizes is what you should realize, is that the past 3 administrations, Clinton, Bush, and Obama, appeased North Korea. They appeased them. They made stupid deals with them that the North Koreans never intended to go by. We went by our end of it, gave them a bunch of money, gave them a bunch of food and whatever. In the meantime, what did they do? They made weapons. They made weapons. They made weapons, and they made weapons. And that's all they've been doing. Ever since the Bill Clinton administration, North Korea has been working to make nuclear weapons. And they've just recently got to where they've got a few of them, and they've actually developed some very troubling things. So all of this was dumped into Donald Trump's lap. Here you go. We've been slacking for 15 years. Now we're going to dump it in your lap. And so if anything happens, oh, it's your fault. You're the crazy guy. You started a nuclear war. No, he's not. He's the only sane one of the bunch. And what he knows is that we only have 2 choices. We either sit by and allow a nuclear power in North Korea, a crazy, crazy communist country, to have multiple nuclear weapons capable of reaching a lot of different places in the world, or we take them on. And if you're going to take them on, this is military 101. If you're going to take them on, you don't beat around the bush. You go in for the kill. And that's what he's doing. He's also using economic policies to tell China, if you don't curb these guys, we will, and you're going to pay in the end. There's a lot of military hardware heading over into that area right now, folks, and I don't know how it's going to end. I hope China comes around, because that's what it's going to take. Make no mistake about it. If China decides tomorrow that Kim Jong-un or Il or whatever the hell his little name is, if they decide that his basketball days are over, they're over. And that's going to be the key to it. I don't think China wants the full power and force of the military of the American people over in their neighborhood. That's what Trump's doing. He's sending them over there and saying, hey, I told you, if you don't take care of this, we're going to take care of it. So only time will tell how it will turn out. If something happens, if something terrible happens, they're all going to blame it on Donald Trump. Oh, Donald Trump is this worst guy. No. The blame goes to George Bush, Bill Clinton, and Barack Obama, who all allowed this man to get these nuclear weapons. And now that you're thinking about that, do you really want Iran to have nuclear weapons too? Well, your little old buddy Obama went over there and gave him $150 billion and said, oh please, don't develop nuclear weapons. And they said, okay, we won't. And he gave them the money. Now, do you believe for one damn minute that they're going to stop? Seriously? Because if you're doing that, you know what? You need to become a journalist.